trying to find it on both sides.
Children of the earth, we have come to sing to each other songs of our mother. Children of the earth,
Kimberly, man.
autumn soon will breathe her last breath, and quick will her dance their weirdly spoken picture.
Realize I gotta get the labels off of these.
Children of the earth,
Kimberly voice.
and you feel the air getting cold as dark. Well, here we are in our imperfectness. I think in an attempt to make sure everyone was muted, we didn't hear all of Kimberly's song, but thank you, Kimberly. And that's one of the reminders that we have for you while we are in meeting mode. I'm going to ask you to all mute yourselves. If you're not speaking, go ahead and mute yourself. And that way we'll hear one speaker at a time. How does that sound? If you need help muting yourself, put a note in the chat and one of us can help you out. Does that sound good? Well, welcome, beloveds. Welcome to our service of celebration, of remembrance, of community, and of gathering. I have an announcement that I will make now and at the end of the service. And that announcement is that our auction ends, the bidding for the auction ends today. And there will be an exciting auction countdown Zoom meeting this evening at 8 o'clock. At the end of the service, I'll go ahead and put that Zoom information into the chat. And Eileen Maurer is here at the, and when the service is over, we can chat about the wonderful auction and the auction countdown. So today's service is the beginning of a sermon series that is a reprise of a series that I started 15 years ago. And it is a journey through the Celtic Wheel of the Year. We see it as an opportunity to attune ourselves and connect ourselves to the rhythms of the year and the rhythms of our lives as we travel the wheel of the year. So this morning, we're honoring Samhain, which is known as Halloween, which is also.
I can't see you.
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and if you're not on mute, to go ahead and mute yourself, and maybe someone can help us do that too. So this is an opportunity to simply to deepen, to learn, to have the shared experience as a congregation of traveling the wheel of the year and the lessons that it can give us. There's going to be an opportunity for us to talk about altars, honor our beloved dead, which we do every year in this service and have for the 16 years that I have been with you. So it is good to be together. I'm so glad you're all here.
We light this candle in acknowledgement of the first peoples of this land and to acknowledge that this is stolen land. May this flame continue to spark mindful awareness of all things that must be remembered and not go unspoken in our community to counter racial oppression. And may we realize that this is Luiseño Nation and Kumeyaay Nation. And we give thanks to the spirits of the land for guiding the presence among us.
Breathe with me. We sound the bell 3 times. Once for those who have gone before, once for those who are with us now, and once for those who will come after. This is a sanctuary that we create together for those seeking and finding their own answers to questions of faith. This is a sanctuary for voices lifted up for peace and justice. This is a sanctuary for those seeking companionship in our struggles and our journeys. We gather today to honor the turning wheel of the year, to honor our losses, to let go, to rest, to breathe together, to name those who have gone before, from whose influence we live at this sacred time. When the veil between the worlds is thin, we stand at a crossroads, at a place that is not a place, in a time that is not a time, where night and day, birth and death, joy and sorrow meet as one. Let us honor those who have gone before. We will call them to us, inviting their presence in, through, and among us. We call upon the spirit of life and our companion in death, known by many names and no names, to be with us now. Come, let us be together in the spirit of honor and reverence. It is good, beloveds, to be together.
I'm going to go ahead and call in the 4 directions for this service. I call upon the north, which represents the earth. I call upon the east, which represents the air. I call upon the south, which represents the fire. And I call upon the west, that represents the water. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Return again, return again, return again, return again. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Return again, return again, return again, return again.
We invite you to have a chalice with you and light it along with us as we light our chalice. The cauldron of Caradwen, crucible of transformation, holds the flame we do not see, but it burns nonetheless. As the shadows deepen, we light this flame confident that it is held, as are we, in the mystery of the cycling year and in a love deeper than we can know.
Thank you, Kathleen. As the year deepens and darkens, the chalice candle is submerged as we enter the dark time. Don't worry, it will re-emerge, I promise. I'm glad that we started with Kathleen, as we were gathering with Kathleen singing, Come, come, whoever you are. I love the reminder that we find such value and such uplift and such comfort and such joy, even in hard times, in being together. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are not bound by creed or doctrine. We don't all share the same beliefs. Some of us travel the Celtic wheel of the year as pagans. Others of us are Buddhists and also travel the wheel. Others of us are atheists. Others of us are Hindu. Others of us are simply Unitarian Universalists with no hyphen. But the important thing is what grounds us and what binds us together is not doctrine, but love. We have said we love beyond belief. In our congregation, we affirm our connection with one another, our commitment with one another through our shared covenants. These are our values. In mutual love and grace, we journey together, grounded in profound respect for a diversity of beliefs and ideas, sustained by service and shared ministry, enriched through collective spiritual deepening, and a safe environment for all generations to thrive. This is what we know. Together, we are more than we would ever be alone. Therefore, we promise, say it with me, to welcome and include everyone, to listen carefully and speak kindly, to help and share what we have with the community. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Today's story for all ages, we've got Aisha's Moonlit Walk. And the story I'm adapting from it is called Thank You, Millie. Tonight is Halloween. My family and I walk up the hill by our house. We're headed toward the park where we'll meet all of our friends from the Samhain ritual. I can smell leaves burning in a bonfire. It's a little chilly and the moon is bright and full. It's Samhain, the witch's new year, the time when the old year is dying and a new year is beginning. It's a special time of year when pagan people can feel close to their beloved dead. I didn't want to come this year. I didn't even want to leave my house. My mom told me, Aisha, I know you're sad, but it will be okay to be sad there. Just come with us, even if you don't really feel like it right now. So I'm walking to the park with everyone. I wipe tears from my eyes and pull my jacket tighter. Everyone is in costume. My mom is dressed like a giant bird. She loves to dress up in silly clothes. My dad does too. He wears the same jester hat every year. It even has matching shoes. My sibling is dressed like an elf. They have been singing all day, loudly. I don't want to sing. I don't even want to get candy. All I want is Millie. Millie was the best dog in the world, and I want Millie back with us. Until 2 weeks ago, Millie would run to the door to greet me every day when I'd get home from school. Millie would flop onto her back and roll around for me to pet her and her little tummy. Millie would know whenever I was sad or scared, or even on the other end of our house, she would know I was there. She would hurry to come lean on me, and then she would just sit there and smile until I felt all safe and warm. She was almost 14 years old, but I still thought of her as a puppy. When she died, we buried her under a tree in our backyard. We call it Millie's tree now. I've cried every day since. I've been sleeping with her collar and her favorite toy. I'm bringing them to the ritual tonight. My dad walks over and puts his arms around me while we walk. I realize that I've been holding Millie's things so tightly, my hands are in fists. I loosen them enough to put an arm around my dad. We walk up to the park on this chilly, crisp night. The park is filled with people dressed in brightly colored clothes. There are lanterns in all different shapes and sizes. Most of the people are here for a big Halloween party. But there are so many pagans here that they have their own celebration over by the pond. My best friend Heather and her moms are the first to see us. They run over yelling, Happy Samhain, and give us big hugs. My sibling runs around everyone singing, It's Halloween, run and dance and yell and sing. He sings until Heather picks him up and gives him an airplane ride, and they both laugh. Heather walks dizzily over to me after the airplane ride. She tucks her arm through mine. Look, she whispers, really excited. Heather is excited a lot. They set up the maze from the last year again. Last year, there was a really fun maze made out of tree branches and a big hanging sheet. I can't wait to walk through it. She squeals, clapping her hands. There is something kind of magical about everything here tonight. Maybe it's okay that I left my room even though I didn't want to. There is a bonfire in the clearing by the pond. There are people playing drums and flutes and calling everyone together to form a big circle around the fire. People dance and sway their way over to where the ritual will begin. A person dressed all in green stands at the north corner of the circle. Spirits of the north, spirits of earth, they call out. That which makes our bodies grow strong and our food rise from the ground. Be here now. People come forward to put their special things on the altar facing north. My mom put sunflowers on the altar in memory of her mom, who loved to garden. I think of Millie's tree in our backyard. I want to put Millie's things down too, but I can't stop holding them tight. At each point in the circle, someone calls to one of the four directions. Spirits of the east, of air, strong storms and gentle breezes, come clear our minds. There is only a gentle breeze in the air tonight, but I feel like there's a strong storm in my belly. A person facing south speaks in a loud, excited voice. Spirits of the south, of fire, creative flickering flames, come be with us tonight and set our spirits free. I remember burying Millie. My mom said, it's okay for her spirit to go now. A person dressed all in blue stands facing west. Their voice is deep and clear. Spirits of the west, of water, of running streams, still lakes and powerful ocean, be with us tonight as we cry, as we laugh, as we grieve and celebrate. Heather's mom, Tara, walks forward and places a necklace made of a beautiful blue stone on the altar facing west. It is in memory of her grandmother, who used to live on an island. People all around the circle begin to call out the names of the ones they would like to honor tonight. Blessings to Sarah Dwin, faithful cat. Blessings to Kate, to your sparkling spirit. Blessings to Anne, may you finally be free from pain. Millie's name catches in my throat and I'm crying again. I feel a little silly with so many people around. Now people are calling out wishes for the new year. May we have strong roots like the trees. May we protect our precious water. May our love bring healing to this world. I think about how much I felt sitting with Millie's head on my lap, and all I can think to do is is to have that feeling back. But I don't see how that can happen. Slowly, everyone finishes calling out their wishes. The circle opens at one end, and the end we start to move, winding ourselves into a giant spiral. We sing and look each other in the eyes as we pass. We all come from the earth, and to the earth we shall return, like drops of rain flowing to the ocean. I notice tears in other people's eyes, and now I don't feel quite so silly. When we all wound up in our spiral, people drop hands and dance. I move and dance too. The song melts into a hum. I look up at the big moon and at everyone's hands, reaching up to it. Our humming showers down in 100 different notes. I edge my way to the Walter at the center of the circle and place Millie's toy and collar on it. I smile. Eventually, everyone thanks the four directions. Open the circle we cast. We hold hands and yelled, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. We put our hands on the ground and feel how close we are to the earth. Everyone moves away from the circle. They go to share food, play games, and celebrate being together. Even though I know there will be candy for all of the kids, I stay behind. I go sit down in front of the center altar and stare at Millie's things. I sit by myself. Thank you, I say to Millie. Thank you for having been our dog. Thank you for being so much fun to play with and for always knowing when I was sad. Thank you for trying to follow me onto the bus that day, even though you weren't supposed to. As I thank Millie, I begin to feel safe and warm instead of cold and sad. I begin to feel tons and tons of love right down to my belly. It's okay to go, I whisper. I let go a huge sigh and lean back on the cool grass. After a few moments, Heather comes running over. Aisha, she says, panting. I just went through the maze. It's so cool. And they give you candy at the end. She holds out her hand to help me. Help me up. Come walk through it with me. I want to go again and again. I take her hand, and together we walk through the maze. Then we climb a tree and eat our candy way up in its branches. The warm love in my belly heats me up. It makes me all excited and silly like Heather. We scoot down to lower branches on the tree and hang upside down by our knees, laughing our heads off. We stay and play for a long time. Late in the night, we walk home. My sibling rides on my dad's back, too tired to sing anymore. I have Millie's things tucked safely into my jacket pocket. I take my mom's hand and we walk home in silence, all of us full of magic, love, wishes, and candy. Reverend Beth, would you please like to show your altar to all of us after this lovely story?
So, thank you, Tim. So humans build altars. That's what they do. The name of the book, by the way, is Aisha's Moonlit Walk. It's in the order of service I sent out. So humans build altars. We create sacred space. It's just what humans do. We can see from millennia the various artifacts that this is what humans do. It's a natural thing. We create sacred space. We set aside time. And so if we were together in person, we would have a big shared altar. You would have brought pictures of your beloved ones. We would be doing similar things, but we would be doing them together. We would have probably had some sort of a ritual together. And I think it was important for us to do that together today. Now, remember that part of what we're doing this year is building altars throughout the course of the year. Remember, we created altars at our in-gathering in September. How many of you did that? Have you created your altar? Are you still using your altar, putting things on it? Well, at this time of the year, which we're celebrating as Samhain, our People of Color group has brought us Dia de los Muertos in the past. You know, these holidays are very, very close together, right? It's Samhain or Halloween, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, Dia de los Muertos, because this is what humans do. We honor our beloved dead, and we honor the passing of the year, right? The turning of the year. So we're going to show you some of our altars. I'm going to share mine with you briefly, and then Tim will share his, and then we'll go over to Kathleen. So a little bit more about altars. An ancestor altar, which is what I have, is dedicated to my ancestors. Now I have an ancestral altar up all year long. It's not in this space, which is in another part of my house. It's in a smaller space with all of the same pictures, and I see it and honor it every day that I walk by it. I walk by it every day. But at this time of the year, I create a special altar And that's what we usually do. We do at our fellowship, and we've done again this year. And my encouragement to you is to, after you see our altars today, after the service, think about creating an altar in your own home. And then you can take some pictures of it and send it to us. You can also visit the altar at the fellowship one of the days when you want to walk the labyrinth. This would be a perfect time to walk the labyrinth, by the way, because this is the spiraling journey of our years, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So this is my ancestor altar. I don't know how much you can see. I'm going to move my computer a little bit, but hard to get it all. I have my beloved parents and grandma, beloved felines who've passed, friends, and acknowledgement of their ongoing influence in my life. This is a time set aside. And so think about what you might want to put on your ancestor altar. You can also have a separate autumn altar or fall altar as we go into kind of the dark time of the year. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And so, Tim, do you want to go ahead and show us your altar? We'll look forward to seeing that.
All right, there we are. Okay, everybody, I know this is kind of a weird angle, but we have my ofrenda here for Dia de los Muertos. This was Sarah that set this up. And I know it's a little blurry with the lighting in here. It's a little dark. We got candles lit. Typically, we would have some marigolds up here, but just like Reverend Beth's cats, our cats like to eat flowers as well. So we have our marigolds outside the house just to keep our kitties safe. But yeah, basically our grandparents and great-grandparents are all up here, who have all passed but are not forgotten, of course. And Sarah's kitty cat Sterling there's a picture of her holding him there. And just little by little, we have a candle. One candle seems to have burnt out, but that's okay. We also have some stones up here to add a little more earthiness to representation of the elements for our ofrenda and altar. And yeah, thank you for letting me share that with y'all. I wish it were a little clearer for you, but thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm here at the fellowship with our altar that we have here on the patio. It is set up now for today's service for Samhain. It will change a little bit after I leave, before I leave today, but I wanted to share with you what's on here right this moment. So we have the cauldron that we lit our chalice in today, and then we have all our elements here on the patio that we normally have. It's really important to me to have greenery. All the altars in my house have plants in them because my house is an altar to plants. But fall is the time of harvest here in the Northern Hemisphere at this time of year. And so we have pumpkins and gourds. I had found this beautiful flower, rose growing on one of our plants, rose plants here. So I cut it off, but there's little pumpkins. There's Reverend Beth had this wonderful corn husk witch over here. There's a jack-o'-lantern. So I want you to think of some things that you like about fall and put them on your altar. I love fall. I love being able to put a sweater on after a whole summer of not having a sweater on. So I might put yarn, like a ball of fuzzy yarn on my altar. But you could put your favorite foods that you like to eat this time of year. So here's our altar at the fellowship. Like I said, it will change a little bit, but I would love you to come and add things that you think are good for this time of year, maybe flowers or pictures. There'll be a little basket with the offerings that I have for you to take home for anybody who would like to. I sent out in the family newsletter some links to some wonderful coloring pages for the Celtic calendar. And so look at those, and you could decorate those and put them on there. So the last thing I want to bring to our notice here on our altar, bring it a little bit closer, is all of these wonderful pebbles. And they are in the fall colors, but each pebble is here on our altar to represent all of our Palomar UU Fellowship members who have passed on and who are not with us anymore. So we probably need a lot more. We've been decades and decades of being here, but that is our remembrance of all of them here on our altar. Please send me pictures of your altar. Thank you.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? They are down in the valley praying. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? They are gone to heaven a-shouting. Day is a-breaking in my soul. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a-breaking in my soul.
Breathe with me. Here we are again, friends. The sun just came out. Here we are again. We're here to name and honor those beloved ones from within our fellowship community who've died since last year. We pause in this time set aside to share the names and faces of those who've touched our lives in ways large and small. We do this because we know that we are constituted in and through our relationships. An invisible thread knits us together. Those whom we have loved at our fellowship are in the very fabric of that place and in our lives. They are in the muddy adobe brick, the creaky floors, the kitchen, the classrooms, the URI's office. Even if you have never met the people whose names will be called, they live in you too now. Even if this is your first time with us, this community and we people have been formed by these beloved ones. Let us now open our hearts as we call out their names. Lynn Stordahl. Daniel Straka. We remember them.
Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees, they are in the groaning woods, they are in the crying grass, and they are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So I listen no more often to things than to beings. Listen no more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice.
Breaths by Sweet Honey and the Rock. Thank you, Michael Muffson, for that beautiful, beautiful video. We'll have that available later so that we can finish it up. Thank you so much, Michael. But it did end with the acknowledgement of the millions of people worldwide and the 224,000 people in the United States who have died from COVID. Will you hold a moment of reflection with me and breathe? We'd like to invite you now to go ahead and put the names of your beloveds in the chat, where we together in person, we would be calling them out, but please go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll honor and name the beloved ones: Arturo, Tomasa, and Tomasa, El, Bobby, Maraquin, Going Too Fast, Anne and Albert Weiser, Marge, Makel, Pierre and Andre, Furry Ones, Polly and Denny, Scott, Larry Giddings, Ben, Cliff, so many names. all the beloved ones. Presente. Please breathe with me again and pray with me. Spirit of life and our companion in death, we pause in this moment, in this time set aside to call out, to remember our beloved ones, those known and unknown to us personally, but who've influenced our lives. We pause knowing that those who have died have never, never left us. They are in our very breath. As long as we live, they shall live, for they are a part of all who have known them and live from their influence. We set aside time, spirit of life and spirit of love, so that we may be in community, so that we may be held in our remembering and in our grief, that we move to celebration of life, knowing that the cycle of life moves in and through us all. And in our remembering and in our grief and in sharing that, we know we are made whole once more. Beloveds, as you remember those who have gone before, know indeed that you and they are held in love and mystery deeper than you can know. Let us hold one more moment of silence. I love you. In bygone days, when the light lessened and the dark deepened, our Celtic ancestors gathered together around bonfires lit to celebrate the final harvest, to prepare for the long winter and the beginning of their new year, Samhain. It has been said that the veil between the worlds was thinnest at that time, and so the ancestors, the beloved dead, were honored as well. Precursor to All Souls and All Saints Day. We gather together today, heirs of the desire for that wisdom, for that depth and that meaning. We gather as the year spirals toward the deepening darkness, as we journey toward transformation. And this is a time to journey inward. So begins the Celtic New Year, the year divided in half between the dark and light. The dark being the place of birth, of wisdom, and transformation. And this year, on October 31st, there is a full moon, a blue moon, which many of us would consider auspicious. Now, for our Celtic ancestors, it was a matter of survival, this dressed in animal skins, slain for the final harvest, building bonfires, dance to please the gods, to honor those dead and gone before, creating those rituals of memory. So yes, it was a matter of survival and also of living out that eternal journey that lives and moves in us as humans. I have called it the soul's journey. Joseph Campbell was a scholar of mythology, and his conversations with Bill Moyer and The Power of Myth reminded us that all cultures have similar myths that speak of this journey. Whether it's the Greek Persephone who journeyed to the underworld where she comforted the wandering souls, or the Sumerian Inanna, queen of heaven and earth, who descended into the depths and was first required to shed the trappings that were her ego's identity. We find in these myths the return to the depths, to the cave, or the cauldron, which is why we have a cauldron out today, with that, as I said earlier, with that flame buried in it, a place of memory reawakened. For 30 years now, I, like many others, have followed the Celtic Wheel of the Year. Some people understand themselves as pagan, others understand ourselves as Christians or mystics, but it is in the cycling of the year that the spiraling journey of the soul is understood and honored, and within those rhythms and the sense of returning, remembering, renewal. I first brought this journey to you 15 years ago when we took a year and traveled the Wheel of the Year as the soul's journey. And at each festival, we joined Aisha in her moonlit walk in the story that Tim adapted. Today and throughout the year, as the wheel turns, I'm going to invite you to journey with me, to journey inward and then outward. That Wheel of the Year is that journey inward. It is the journey outward. It is the journey of the sacred spiral of life, living in the rhythms of the cycling years that both echoes and beckons. It is at once a memory and a longing, a promise and a lure. As we turn to the dark of the year, it is a returning inward for recovered and new wisdom, the deepening and understanding, and even rest for the spirit. Now, some of you might be saying, what does she mean by soul, and what is that? How do we understand it? I like the way Thomas More, a psychospiritual therapist, talks about it. He says, soul isn't a thing, but a quality or a dimension of experiencing our lives and ourselves. It has to do with depth and value, relatedness, heart. The soul lies midway between understanding and unconsciousness. And it's an instrument neither of the mind or the body, but of the imagination. The soul in this instance isn't something that's separate from the body, but it is something more. It is consciousness, awareness of itself. Now, this is partly what spiraling through the journey of the year assures us, is that the darkness is not an abyss. It's not bottomless, nor is it empty. It's a place where wholeness is possible, even if cure is not. Hurts are forgiven, hearts open once more to love. The soul's journey is one of awakening from the illusion of separateness to become love in action, the manifestation of that love for all beings who partake in the world soul. It's a journey without a destination. It's a process of awakening over and over to deeper insights into connection and love. And so it is that we mark these times. Now, the old stories tell about a world soul. They tell about how interconnected all things are. Now, in these times, I hear that there's a soul sickness in our world. Can you feel that? Our soul's journey is bound up in the world soul. What is it that your soul longs for yourself, for the world? Take a breath with me. That place in you that is imagination, that is connectedness, that is dream. What do you dream for? The psychologist Carl Jung famously wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." And so even as we travel into the dark time of the year, we know that the journey will wind out as well. This is what I would like to invite you to do. I would like to invite you with the deepening dark as the days become shorter. Beloveds, I invite you to rest. It may seem counterintuitive as we are right now ramping up into a very active season of protecting our democracy. I still want you to rest. I also want to invite you to let go of what no longer serves you. I invite you to let the dark embrace you. As we go into the dark time, it's a time to remember that seeds are deep in the ground, germinating. In northern climates, animals are hibernating, yet still breathing. The dark is a place of dreaming, of imagination, of possibility. Take care of yourselves during this time. Remember those who have influenced you and live from the possibility of a soul made whole and restored. May you find courage in the cauldron of transformation, wisdom in the womb of winter, and comfort in the deepening, productive, beautiful dark. May we dream dreams for ourselves and for our world, and may they be born out of a deepening, beautiful dark that invites us into all possibilities and the redemption of our souls. Healing rain is falling down right now, beloveds. Where I am, healing rain is falling down. Welcome the dark. Welcome the rain. Welcome the spiraling journey of the year. Breathe.
We gather each week to affirm this community. Part of this affirmation is acknowledging all that we share with one another, our times, our talents, and our resources. We live our values by sharing half of the undesignated collection with a local nonprofit organization. This quarter, the plate share goes to Camp de Benneville Pines, the UU Pacific Southwest Camp. If you are currently in a position to give or to continue making your pledge payments, there are several ways to do that, even in the midst of shelter in place. You can write a check and mail it to our office, or check in with our office administrator to find out how to set up auto payments or pay through our database. Or it is very easy to donate through the text to give, which you can see the instructions on the screen, or if the screen's not working, we can see the instructions in the live chat.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get
Well, isn't that true? We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, beloveds, but I know we will. And I know that we will get there together. And because together is how we will transform this world. I'm so glad to have been able to share this service, and Kathleen has turned her camera to the out onto the grounds where the healing rain is falling down. So, beloveds, there she is. I don't know how many of you can see Kathleen there. We're so appreciative to all of you for being here. Now, what I want to tell you, I want to remind you that there are numerous ways to connect throughout I'm putting the text to give in the chat. No, I'm not. I'm giving you a different one. The text to give is in the email that I sent out to you this morning, and I will make sure another email goes out to you with the text to give, because I didn't get that into the chat. I'm going to try and do that. But I want to tell you about the exciting auction countdown party that's happening later on today. Happens at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a great time for all of us to wind up our auction. So we hope that you can join us. I put that information in the chat, and it's gone out in an email. How's that? I want to thank everyone who participated in the service. Michael, for your beautiful, beautiful video. Kathleen, for your beautiful ministry. Tim, for your wonderful participation. Mindy, for your wonderful, wonderful tech support. Kimberly, for your beautiful music. And all of you for coming in. Linda said she keeps getting outbid. You just need to go back in there and bid some more then, I think. Why don't you go ahead and join me in our chalice extinguishing word. Although we extinguish this flame, we carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment until we are together again. I love Patty Christensen. Thanks for putting the text to give. Hey, y'all, it takes a village. Good job. Thanks, Patty. I appreciate it. And so as we go forth from our time together, I want to remind you that you can stay after our closing song, and we'll have a time to visit and hear from Eileen Maurer, I think. So, Tim, will you remind us of who we are, please?
Absolutely. Please sing with me. We are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're seekers of truth and seekers of faith. We are brothers of love and sisters of mercy. We're makers of peace and wisdom as goes. We are mothers of prayers and the lovers of angels. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Thank you all for being with us, and remember to go in peace, be makers of peace. We did it